And I need all bros. And I'ma sip on this mug cause my dog gone. Tell dog on these niggas like I'm Waldo. And bitch, we gon' stay with the juice till it's all gone.
Ruthless. Yo, what's up? It's the motherfucking Effin Football Podcast. It's episode number 8. And what we coming at him with this week? Dolla, Mr. Welty over here. You know, it's the crew, it's the squad, it's your boys. We're out here to, talk some ish and lay down some real MFN football facts. If y'all ain't found us on Twitter, it's at Effin Football Podcast. We're here. We're doing it this week. We're doing the top 10 running backs, our projections for the best running backs for the season. So, are you talking? They're like, hey, Rory, JC, is it the top 10 fantasy football running backs or top 10 yards per carry? Nah, man, it's the top 10 dudes that we think are going to perform the best on the field. Back it up with the stats, pass the eyeball test. That means when you watch them play, you're like, that guy is an MFN top 10 running back in the league.
Just a bunch of dudes.
Yeah.
Just about
Our top 10 favorite dudes.
Top 10 dudes.
top
that
10
run the football.
Yeah.
Is this guy a real dude?
I'll tell you what, man.
Hey, I want that dude on my team, man.
Hey, we're going to be fast. We're going to be physical.
We're going to be big.
We're going to be big.
That's an effing guarantee.
We're gonna be big. We're gonna be physical. That's your dad doing Gruden.
Oh, is that?
That was pretty good.
So, extra, read all about it. We're going to be fast, we're going to be big, we're going to be physical. And that's what you get when you step in the effing room with the effing football crew. It's the effing football podcast.
I was bred for this shit.
Man, born. Molded by it.
I was born in the darkness.
I was molded by bread.
Dude, I'm gluten free, bro. So there's some actual like math and ish behind this. How we compiled our top 10 list. Basically, Welty made his top 10, Dolla made his top 10, I made my top 10, and then we ranked our guys based on a point scale. My first place guy got 10 points, second place got 9, and that helped us, narrow down a list that's agreeable between,
This
the
is
whole
all
crew.
very scientific.
It's
There's a lot that goes into this.
Dude.
It's crazy. It's just
Equations.
beakers and shit.
algorithms. So many algorithms.
Turkey basters.
Dude, did you know that an object in motion tends to stay in motion?
Until it's acted on by...
An homologous pair. You know what I mean?
I didn't know that
I don't
part.
know, biology.
Is that Nietzsche?
Well, technically, it's scientific, but scientifically, it's technical. And basically, if you break it down historically, rhetorically, we can talk,
But theoretically, these are going to be the top 10 running backs in the NFL
Boom.
next season.
Boom, boom, boom. Number 10, Dolla.
Number 10.
No, I mean our number 10 running back of the 2018 season.
Number 10.
Dolla.
Running back,
Dolla got number 10. How'd you do it, man? How'd you make the list?
I've been training.
How'd you make the list? So you're doing a lot of 40s, a lot of squats?
A lot of thrusts, like fucking power cleans.
Dude, I've heard that this guy has sometimes they do boxing in the off season. This guy took up a freestyle parkour. You do that at least 3 to 5 hours a day, 6 days a week?
Yeah, I go on the city streets and I just do my art.
Yeah. It's
Hey, what's the
beautiful.
difference between parkour and hardcore parkour?
Hardcore parkour is when you do it naked.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
okay.
Alright, you can Google that shit. So,
Yeah,
Do you put the hard in hardcore?
I do it hard all the time.
man,
That
dude,
makes sense.
All the time.
dude's got horde.
You don't not make it to the NFL not doing it hard.
Dude, and you don't not make it to the NFL not doing what this guy just said not to do.
Not
Alright?
exactly.
No way. All right.
All right, so
yeah, I'm going to the league. So.
Yeah, so so we'll just skip down. Oh, my bad. That was number 11 on the list was Ty Dolla $ign. Let's get down to number 10. Ibra, number 10. Saquon Barkley, man.
Hey.
Penn State.
Eli can't stop looking at his legs, so I don't know what that tells you. That was a quote from Eli.
Yeah. Did Eli get like gangrene or something? Can't stop looking at his legs.
I don't normally look at a man's legs, but they're like the size of my waist. That's a quote.
You know the nickname that OBJ gave him, right?
Sheila?
No, Saquon. He's calling him Saquads.
Saquads, Barkley.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, Saquads.
Yeah. Well, anyways,
I
I mean,
know.
he's a rookie, so who knows what he's going to do, but he's freaking a physical specimen. And yeah, apparently he's got huge legs. He runs over everybody. He's got moves like Le'Veon Bell, but he's bigger. He might be faster, too. So, I mean, it's a wait and see. I mean, he could go higher. I mean, if the Giants got their act together and the offensive line was a little better and they performed better than last year, this guy could be top 5. But you got to wait and see. It's the name of the game with the rookies. You don't know what they got, so you just see what happens. But he's got the talent to make it in the top 10. It's just what are the Giants going to do to help him out? That's really the biggest question, for me at least. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't know. They're going to pay $200 billion to Nate Solder to play tackle, so what else can they do, man?
Got to do something.
Yeah, what else can they do? I think they drafted an offensive lineman at some point. You know, the thing about Saquon, like, Ty, you step in here, man. You know his combine stats a little better. That guy was a fucking freak.
Yeah, he put up crazy numbers. He's like one of the most physical running backs to come out, probably since Adrian Peterson. That's my comp for him. Probably catches a little better. He has a chance to just like be the workhorse for the Giants this year, so he can definitely put up a bunch of stats and be like, this next string of rookie running backs to come in and just make that smooth transition from college to the NFL. So that is on the table, but I didn't have him on my list. I am like a wait and see kind of guy. I had guys ahead of him that have done stuff. So
hey man, you don't get drafted that high as a running back unless you're pretty damn
you're
good.
doing franchise.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they've won some rings, man. It's not like they're that dumb.
They tackled the Patriots dynasty
By
a
the
couple
skin
times.
of their teeth.
Yeah. Well,
I mean,
fair
not a lot
enough.
of teams can tackle the Patriots by anything, much
Yeah.
less the skin of their teeth.
Well, I mean, they cheat a lot. Gives them a big advantage.
The Patriots?
Yeah, straight up.
Oh yeah, that's
How
true.
many times have been caught cheating for?
I mean, if you can beat the
Nobody
cheaters-
likes to talk about that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, Saquon Barkley's a man, dude. Like, he destroyed the combine. My concern is, like, when you compare him to the other backs that were coming out of college this year is, like, the analytics guys, like, were hating on some of his numbers. Like, the production didn't really match, the stature of the player. Definitely didn't match, like, his production at the combine, but running back's an interesting position. Recently we've seen a trend of backs going high and performing well, because there's that gap where a couple years teams were afraid to take running backs in the first round.
Yeah, but they got to be talented to get that high. I mean, you don't just, go top 10 as a running back unless you're almost a sure thing to do well. I mean, there's very few that just don't do well when they're drafted in the top 10. Not anymore. I mean, you can find guys in the later round, and there's probably more value there. But when you want a sure thing to come in and make an impact on your offense, you get a guy like Saquon Barkley who's going to step in right away, and he adds a whole nother dynamic, whole nother element as far as being able to dominate and control the ball with the run game, and also catch passes out of the backfield and help you in that dynamic too. And it's still wait and see. I don't think he's going to step in and be the centerpiece of that offense. It's still Odell's team. But I think as the season gets going, he's just going to get better, and he's going to get better, and you're going to see his numbers at the end of the season. They're going to be there. He'll have over 10 touchdowns. He's going to have over 1,000 yards. He's going to get some catches. He's going to be up there in top 10 for sure.
Where did you have him ranked?
Me personally, I had him at 10. That was my ranking for him.
Yeah, I had Saquon Barkley at 6 on my list. It's never, you said it's Odell's team. It's never a receiver's team. I'll tell you that much.
Odell's that good.
It's
Odell
never a
is
receiver. It's not Jerry
ridiculous.
Rice, bro. Go look at Jerry Rice's numbers, and that still wasn't his team. You know,
I
I like
mean-
Odell a lot. He wasn't great last year, I'll tell you that much. You know, I see DeAndre Hopkins doing, you know, a lot with a lot less. You know what I mean? So
Deshaun Watson's got talent. I mean,
he's
got
dude. Hopkins been doing it for years. bro.
Yeah,
a
well-
cast of like throwaway quarterbacks. Eli Manning's
I'm not
supposed to be
hating on
some
that guy at
supposed
all.
Hall of Famer and shit. Like, I don't know, man. I like Odell, but this ain't Odell's team. It's Saquon's team now. I'll tell you that much. And the reason I have him so ranked on, I have him
he
ranked high
hasn't
on
played
this-
a game yet. It can't be his
You
team.
know, I'm the guy who took Kareem Hunt. I'm the guy who took Ezekiel Elliott the year before, man. I draft good running backs. You know, this guy's going to be a good running back. I don't want to blow my fucking load and give away fantasy football advice, but, like, Saquon Barkley's going to be the fucking man this year, straight up. That team doesn't got
he'll
a
get
whole
drafted
lot.
ahead
The
of some
team
of these
doesn't have a
guys.
whole lot going for him. You know, Eli Manning's arm might fall off some way halfway through the season. You know, the guy never had an arm in the first place. He's like a glorified Chad Pennington without the accuracy. You know, the guy can throw passes. He's won some big games. You know, you toss it to Odell. You don't. They got Evan Ingram, good tight end, but they're going to be running the fucking football, dude. That guy's going to put up huge numbers. I have him at 6 for a reason, because recent trends, there's always at least one running back from the rookie class who like ranks in the top 5. And this year's class, I think it's Saquon. You know, I know they've had some steals like Alvin Kamara last year, Kareem Hunt. You know, guys coming in later rounds. It's been happening recently, but this guy's he's a beast, man. He's an effing beast. You know, and I thought number 10 on our list was low for him for our projection, but glad he made the list. So
I think it's like his floor is a 10. Like his ceiling is obviously much higher than a 10, what he could be. But I think just on talent alone and what they're going to do with him, I don't see him being outside of top 10, production-wise at least.
Well, Dolla Sign thinks so, and it's because, you know, he's a rookie, it's unproven. I get where you're coming from. Checks out, man. Who knows? You know what I mean? How will it translate? He didn't dominate at the sort of level you would expected, you know, a guy of his physical abilities to dominate, you know?
Yeah.
It's fair.
We'll see.
Let's move on to number 9. Number 9, we got a guy who wasn't on this guy's list.
Nope.
Ty Dolla Sign, what do you think about this player?
Mark Ingram from the Saints. He had his best year of his career last year, by far. He put up crazy stats running with Alvin Kamara. The Saints totally changed their dynamic and became more of a running team than passing. Took a lot of pressure out Drew Brees, and he caught a lot of passes too. He caught 58 passes, scored 12 touchdowns, rushing the ball. Just had a lot of production, and I think that's going to be more of the same this year. He is missing 4 games to start out the year, but when he comes back, I think he's going to be super fresh and doing the same things with Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, dude, Mark Ingram out of Alabama, man. Hey, kids, it's Alabama, man. So, like, you know, that's that guy that, you know, running backs are weird sometimes. You know, the first several years of this guy's career, he didn't seem to be, you know, stepping up to his draft status. You know, as a first-round pick, he was a first-round pick, right?
Yeah. Their team is just so much different when he was
They were
drafted.
so pass first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was sharing the backfield with Pierre Thomas.
Yeah.
And
He's always been sharing the backfield.
Yeah.
When he was a rookie, wasn't Reggie Bush still around?
Reggie Bush was there.
Yeah.
You know, so he's always been, you know, in the mix, but not necessarily the featured guy.
Well, now that they're a power running team, I think they plays more to his strengths, and that's what they've built around. And as I said, obviously it's a running team now. Still love Drew Brees and the
Well, I
production
call it a
coming out of him.
balanced team.
Well, I say they come with you the run and then they counter
They
you with
open
the
the
pass.
pass a little more.
As opposed to
How it used to be.
it used to be pass counter with the run.
Yeah.
But
Shifted the focus.
exactly, and that's kind of the mentality of the team is we're going to be big, we're going to be strong, and we're going to be physical.
We're gonna be-
and we're going to run the ball. Old school football, like we used
I
to
like
like
that
it.
guy, man.
Dude, I'll tell you what, man, that's some smash mouth football. And like, what's funny is like, there's been no shift in like him sharing the ball. Alvin Kamara came through as a fucking super rookie, and before I broke down my top 10 list, I was like, who's going to be number 10 on my list? Like, the first name that popped into my mind was like Mark Ingram. I was like, I bet he'll battle with Melvin Gordon at the bottom of my list for number 10. And then I really dove into the stats, and I was like, God, this guy had fucking great stats last year when it comes to running backs. In 16 games, he put up 1,124 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns at 4.9 yards a carry. Like, that was top 5 for running backs in the league. The guy's production rushing the ball last year was awesome, and maybe it has to do with the 1-2 punch. It definitely has to do with the shift in the offense to being more run-oriented, instead of the pass opening up the run opening up the pass, as Drew Brees ages and Sean Payton acclimates to, what's going to work best with his roster. And the fact that this guy wouldn't include this dude on his list just blows my fucking mind.
All right, I'll tell you why I didn't put him on my list.
Tell me why.
All right, well,
I'll tell you why.
He's splitting carries, right?
Sorry.
He's splitting carries, first of all. He's going to have 2 backs in that backfield where they're going to have to share the football. And I think
he split carries last year, bro.
Yeah, well, the thing last year was that everyone thought the Saints was a pass-first offense last year, and that's how they game planned. They kept thinking that's how they were going to be attacked.
For 16 games?
So they never made it.
I was saying, they're not
games deep, man.
Yeah, is that
You
Rob
gotta watch, man. These guys are gonna go throw it 50 times a year, man.
Was Rob Ryan
50 times a
the
game.
defensive coordinator for all of the teams they played?
They wish. I mean, but no, really, they're not going to catch anybody off guard. Everyone's going to be ready for that this year. It's not going to be the surprise. Like, what's the 2 other backs here?
It's logic.
You're not going to see
Your logic is skewed, man.
No, I'm telling
let's
you,
just
like-
reward the player who just has the most points randomly in the week. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my
I
God.
said when you're
like-
team going in the week and you're thinking you're playing against Drew Brees, in the back of your mind, you always think that's going to be the guy that burns you. And then you got a whole year to digest that. And even as a
He
player,
will still burn
subconsciously.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
matter.
But I'm going to say they're going to still be. The shift is going to be thinking about the run when you think about the Saints. Just as a mentality as a football player, from the coaches all the way through. That's what everyone's going to be ready for.
The guy's gonna burn
So-
you. He's still an amateur welder, and he's lacking control.
He's a glass blower.
He'll fucking blow.
I like Alvin Kamara way more. I think Alvin Kamara is way more
He'll
explosive.
blow
He's
your mind.
freaking suspended, not to mention. So it's
Dude,
like,
Mark-
he's missing a quarter of the season already.
Mark
so.
Ingram averaged 4.9, almost 5 yards a carry last year. Dude.
And there's other
You
guys.
gotta pay some respect. He had 12 rushing touchdowns. Like, the guy, and until I dug through the stats, I was like, I had him ranked a little lower. And then you gotta respect the production, man.
He was
Like,
catching balls out of the backfield.
he had
Very
he
valuable
had 58
passing.
catches too.
Very valuable.
So that's definitely top 10 for a running back. He had 1,540 yards from scrimmage,
Yeah.
which is
solid.
which is
Super solid.
which is 14 yards less than Alvin Kamara had from scrimmage.
And this is like his 4th season and the best season he's had yet. Like this is the pinnacle. That was the best you're going to see out of Mark Ingram in his entire career. You've already seen it. It's
You
over.
can't say that.
2018 is a new season.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. That's an effing guarantee.
Oh!
I'll get to that.
Oh! Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really glad all this is being recorded. I'm really at the end of the season we can all go back and be like, oh man,
And this guy's
Mark
gonna
Ingram,
look mad
huh?
stupid.
he's just gonna be looking mad.
So what's your
He's gonna
prediction?
end up drafting him. In
Give
the-
it-
No, I had Dalvin Cook instead. Honestly, I
give me
think
a-
he was gonna come in. I think Dalvin
Yeah,
Cook had
Dalvin
better
Cook.
stats.
I don't want to hear
than-
about who didn't make the list, okay?
I'm just.
I had
saying.
Marshall Lynch instead.
I was gonna say, man, if
If
I
he
didn't have
wasn't
him on the
still-
list, who did I have instead? That was the guy I put in there instead. I
So
think,
give me a projected stat line this year for Mark Ingram.
900 yards. He'll probably get 10 touchdowns because that's an explosive offense. But I think Alvin Kamara is gonna take over.
900
as the
yards
future-
total?
Oh no, rushing. He'll still get, probably 300 yards out of the backfield, but I think he's going to be outside the top 10. I'm not saying he's bottom 20 or anything like that, but I think there's going to be 10 guys that have better years than him. I mean, and think about the suspension. If you lose a quarter of the season, you're already behind the A ball, right?
But-
you got to come up behind it.
He's a running back. He's an older running back. Like that
not-
time off is gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah.
what
I
do
would
you
call,
guys
I
think
would call
French is a
older.
danger.
with 4 games suspended? What do you guys think his stat line's going to look like?
I thought your 900-yard rushing mark was generous. Like, if you projected that over 16 games, it'd be more rushing yards than he had last season.
I think his averages are.
And 10 touchdowns in 9 games. Like, that would be a better stat line if he's doing it 4 yards a tote. He'll be a top 10 running back if he put up the stat line you just projected.
Well, that's going to be his ceiling. That's it. That's
top 10?
That's his ceiling.
You're saying he'll make the top 10 list next year for
Well, I'm going to say that there's going to be 10 guys that have 1,200 yards or more than 1,000 yards, and so he's out 4 games.
Do you know how many players rushed for 1,000 yards last season?
Not off the top of my head.
9.
Yeah, so he's going to have to obviously make the top 10.
So,
I think there's going to be, including the other guys on my list here, and
I think we got a
Cook.
I think wait.
Better production.
I think I heard a knock on the door. I think we got a delivery.
No, that's DiGiorno. Yeah.
Dude, it's Taco fucking Tuesday in here on Friday night, motherfucker.
It's Fajita Friday.
It's Fajita Friday. You know what time it is. It's the motherfucking Coors Light man up in the building. Don't forget that the Effin Football Podcast is sponsored by cold, cool, delicious Coors Light. You can tell by the mountains on the side of the can. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take one.
You want the one I licked?
Oh, yeah.
How about the one Teddy licked?
Yeah, well, I thought you were Ted for a second. I thought Ted was asking me.
What's Teddy looking?
Dude, we got Ty Dolla $ign, we got Ted $ign, we got Welty $ign in the building, and we got your motherfucker, the herbivore. I mean, Rory JC coming to you. And let's just keep this let's keep this party going. Let's move on to number 7.
No, you messed that up. Number 8.
Let's move on to number 8. So I was looking at the wrong.
I'm gonna introduce this guy. This guy right here. He's gonna be big.
Introduce him.
And he's gonna be physical. Melvin Gordon. All right. He's gonna hate. You know what he's gonna say? 3.9 yards per carry. That's his big stat. Look at the smile.
That's literally a yard less per carry than Mark Ingram. A yard less per carry.
But guess what? He's the feature back.
Yeah.
He's gonna get everything. He's gonna get those catches. He's gonna get the rushes. That's gonna be a dynamic offense. They're gonna be scoring lots of touchdowns, getting lots of yards. That matters. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna have to say over your guy that's suspended for 4 games.
That's cool. I'm sure you got to get injured for 4 games, bro.
Okay. That has no basis for anything. Anyways, yeah, this guy, he's going to be more of a presence in the passing game. I guarantee it. That's an effing guarantee. The defense has only gotten better with Derwin James, which is going to make the ball come back to the Chargers more often, and that's going to make them run the ball. When they're running the games out, when they're winning, that's going to happen too. Anyways, he's a big, strong back. I will say I hate on his feet. He has slow feet that don't move fast enough in the backfield. That is my knock on him. I'll be honest. I'll be a genuine person. I'll tell you what I really think. Even though it's my team, it's my guy. He needs to work on his footwork.
Where do you have him ranked at?
Me? I think I had him actually at number 6. I think he was going to be high production. That was my thing. Maybe not the efficiency that you're looking for, but production is going to be there. The numbers will be there. He's going to have catches. He's going to have touchdowns. He's going to have yards. He's going to be on explosive offense. And, yeah, I'm expecting more of the same. This guy's going to try to find some stats, his analytics. Don't you know, analytics has no place in football.
All right. Okay. Don't pay attention to the stats to see the production of the player that you're analyzing. Sounds like a motherfucking effing great idea. Ty Dolla $ign.
Eyeball test.
I know you love this guy too. Go ahead and just run with it.
Melvin Gordon, he's a fan favorite, obviously, of Welty's and I. He's beautiful.
But let's make it he's not a fan favorite of the podcast, though.
No, not yet. Not yet. But he will be after this. He's got beautiful dreadlocks.
They're great. They're the greatest dreadlocks.
Best dreadlocks in the NFL, by far.
I just tried to find his stats and I typed Melvin Ingram. I do this every time.
I love him too. The reason I love Melvin Gordon is because he's improved every year he's been in the league so far in almost every way. He's cut down on the fumbles. He was a fumbling machine his rookie year. Didn't score any touchdowns. Thought he might be a bust. Todd Gurley got picked right before him. I was like, damn, we messed out. But
he got picked like 20 picks ahead of him. But that's neither here nor there. Keep going.
No.
Yeah, Rams traded up into the top 10 to grab him all. We got Melvin Gordon, I think 17 or 19, something like that.
And we'll come
Yeah,
back to
Todd
that.
Gurley went at 10.
You're a 10. He's the running.
Oh,
he's
thank
the
you,
running-
Dolla.
You should have.
Are you trying to make a podcaster blush?
Anyways, he only fumbled one time last year. He was super involved in the passing game, was targeted a lot, and made a lot of receptions, 58, four receiving touchdowns, almost 500 yards receiving. The guy's
Well
a beast,
played.
and he's a huge part of this team. Featured back, as Welty said. That can only mean more stats. Obviously, more chance for injury, but everyone has a chance to get injured in the NFL. But I'm looking forward to big things with not only him, but the Chargers offense as a whole and their whole team.
But how do you think they'll play football, though?
Hilarious. Hilarious.
This guy's looking forward to a bunch of big things, man. Like, I know it, man. I can see that smile on your face, bro. That's a Coors Light approved official smile. You can tell when the mountains are blue on the side of the can.
Melvin
It's time to
Gordon,
drink the fucking- the rest of that beer.
I think this is going to be his true breakout year. I think he's going to put it all together. The team's going to put it all together, and we're going for the W.
Wow, this guy's, when Phillip Rivers is out there throwing long bombs like George Bush, going to fight, we're going to go get Osama, man. And that's what Melvin Gordon. So Melvin Gordon should be working on. You know what I mean? Like, I really came into this exercise of ranking my top 10, hoping to keep him outside of my top 10.
Can't do it.
But based on
Haters gonna hate. The
based on
player's
just
gonna play. All
an
right.
accumulation of statistics, and Phillip Rivers being so effective of moving the team into the red zone, you have to put him in there. For this one fact only, like inside of the red zone, he's an effective running back. Inside of the 10-yard line, this guy can score touchdowns. If you put him 10 yards away from the goal line, the guy can score touchdowns.
And they got Mike Pouncey this year.
You can
That's
tell
going to
he
be an
can't-
improvement as well.
He can't
so.
do shit else based on his career average of 3.8 yards a carry through 3 seasons.
When you make a lot of goal line runs, you can only go so far,
That's a function
Dude,
of the
he gets
offensive
plenty.
line.
He gets plenty of opportunity.
Function of the offensive line, man.
Dude, there's other running backs who play with bad offensive lines
Such
who put
as?
up production. Such as on our list, David Johnson, who knows if he makes our top 10, but his offensive line was not that great when he just destroyed motherfuckers 2 years ago.
Not as bad as the Chargers.
Saquon Barkley will be a top 10 running back with a bottom 15 offensive line. Speaking of lines, like the Saints' offensive line is good, but it's not great. You know what I mean? You can only blame the offensive line to a certain extent. Is the Rams' offensive line that good? No, they're
Pretty good.
They added a
last year.
They added a left tackle last year, and it made a big difference apparently.
It made a huge difference. They went
That's
from the
one-
last. They
it's-
went from the last offense
It's
to
one.
the first
It's
offense.
one player. You guys added offensive linemen this offseason. Mike Pouncey already said one. That wasn't the only addition. You know what I'm saying?
We have
Like,
Forrest
you
Lamp
can't
coming back
blame-
from injuries, and then he's a
Injuries.
second round pick. We had a rookie in last year because our center got hurt. But yeah, honestly,
3.8
our line
yards.
will be better.
I gave you
which
guys-
will make the running game better, which
I-
will make Melvin Gordon's stats better.
I gave
It's
you
all
guy.
full
I gave you
circle.
guy all the love he can get over here, dude. He's effective in the red zone. Outside of that, he's garbage the rest of the field. So, but I still put him on my top 10 because he scores touchdowns and he accumulates statistics. He's like a baseball player who just like has a terrible batting average, but scores a lot of runs and gets RBIs or something. He's not a 5-stat contributor.
Batting average is overrated. It's all about on base percentage.
Well, he doesn't get walks either. He
can't
gets
walk
he
in
gets
football.
stopped behind the line of scrimmage a lot. You know what
Receptions are walks.
I mean? Receptions.
We shouldn't be like crossing baseball.
Well, his
so
reception
far right
numbers,
now.
his reception numbers weren't that great. Like he had,
They're solid. They're solid reception.
but he
numbers.
dropped like 30 passes also. Like his receiving percentage, like the percent of balls he caught.
Were
that
they
he was
all
throwing.
drops, or were some of them bad passes?
Okay, I'm sure. Well, that's your quarterback, Phillip Rivers. You analyzed how many
Bad passes
bad
are
short
part
passes.
of the game. Bad passes are
And
part
he's
of
been
the
getting
game.
better every year. He's gonna be better
You
this year.
heard it here first. Ty Dolla said that Phillip Rivers cannot
Everyone makes
complete
bad passes.
short passes. Man.
Everyone
All his
makes
short
bad
passes
passes.
to the running backs, terrible passes.
Philip, I love you.
Man, he
I'm
really
not-
slings it downfield with great vigor and
My
intensity,
God.
but like
My God.
it's your quarterback. I gave him all the props
That's
I can.
my quarterback.
I had
my
him.
quarterback.
I had him ranked 10. Okay, I had him in my top 10. So you can't fucking Am I really hating that much?
So it looks like we have a Charger
If Marshawn Lynch was
quarterback in
2
the top
years
10
old.
and a Charger running back in the top 10.
Oh,
I
man.
wonder if they have a top wide receiver in the top 10.
Oh.
Do you think they'll have a top pass rusher in the top 10?
Do you think
Do you think they'll have a
a-
top cornerback in the top 10?
maybe
Shit.
We're not doing
top
top.
10
Shit.
We're not
Man,
gonna.
they're
We're not
looking
gonna.
kinda
We're not gonna be doing top 10
scary
cornerbacks.
right
Top 10
now.
defense?
We have 2 more top
Ooh.
10s. We're gonna do top 10 wide receivers next podcast, and we're gonna do top 10 pass rushers, and that's about it, man. Then it's time to start talking about
Man.
the fucking season.
Training camp's 1 week away.
Point is, Melvin Gordon, he's coming.
Dude, I wish we
And
had
he's,
you.
and he's going to be the next great running back.
Yeah, well, year
Good
4,
one.
man, we'll see if that guy can average more than 4 yards a carry. His rank for yards per carry wasn't even a top 20 for running backs. So, like,
Moving on. Moving on. That's how we started.
there you go.
This is finished.
Leave him
you go.
alone.
Lucky number 7.
Number 7 this time for real. For real though, Arab, you better check the Effin number 7 on the top 10 running backs. Hove.
Oval.
Get him.
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette. How do you fucking feel about that?
Alright, Fournette has got the eyeball test. When you're talking about when you're watching a running
Oh
back,
man, he's mean.
he's scary. Like, you don't want to tackle this guy. Like, you
How
tackle him once the rest of the game. you're
much
like,
does he
"No,
weigh? Like 200 and fucking.
He's like 250.
He's like 250.
He runs like what? 4.3?
4.5.
4.3.
4'3". Come on. That's
Four,
he's
five,
not Bo
okay.
Jackson.
Alright.
You should-
Maybe I exaggerated a little bit. But honestly,
Dude, he knocked out Ali.
Frazier?
Down goes Fournette. No, down goes his opponents. Down goes the linebackers. Man.
Yeah, honestly, his offense isn't that great. His supporting cast is not that great. He literally was the offense for the Jags last year and got them all the way to the AFC Championship game. It's on his back, that and the defense. And so maybe, like I said, when it comes to stats, I don't think it's going to be as high as we have him ranked. But as far as like importance to the offense, the difference he's going to make in the game, how he's going to carry that team again to the playoffs on top of that defense, that's why Fournette is right here, because he's that kind of player. He's scary. He wears you down. You do not want to tackle this guy 2 times in a game. And, there's probably other guys we could have moved up, but it's the eyeball test that made Leonard Fournette go at number 7. I like him. Rory was a little bit iffy on the guy. Dude, just watch the tape. Just watch it. And just see how people tackle him the first time, the second time, and the third time. And they go after him a little softer each time.
I don't know about Iffy, man. I had him at, I had him on my list. I had him at number 9, man. I had him in front of the last guy we talked about. I actually went fishing with a dude one time, and I was like, grabbed the tackle box, got the bait, and I was like, hey, bro, is there anything else we need to bring? And he was like, yeah, man, 4 nets.
And that is the end of the podcast.
He's been working on that one all week.
Forever.
Yeah, all right. Hey, man, they don't all land, dude. So, yeah, Leonard Fournette's big, scary runner. He came from LSU, man. Those guys are just tough, dude. The place this guy come out
He's
of.
on that
Man.
gumbo.
Man, this guy will fucking feed you all that gumbo.
All that gumbo and all that etouffee.
Yeah, he'll go out to the forest, man. This guy hunts wolves in his free time, I'm pretty sure.
Bobby Boucher, what do you guys think? What do you say about that?
Yeah, he go down on the bayou and you go down on the bamboo and he gotta get on.
Well, she showed me her boobies, and I like those too!
You can do it!
Hey, man. Hey, shout out to all our fans down in the South, man. We got mad love for you.
I love Louisiana.
Man, he makes love in Louisiana. He makes love to Louisiana. He's got a big poster in his room that's just...
I'll tell you what, man.
Yeah.
I love that chicken from Popeyes.
Louisiana fresh.
Exactly.
You guys don't get enough credit down in the South for
Red
loving
beans
your
and rice.
football.
Hey, dude, Leonard Fournette, he's one of not many running backs who was able to rush for 1,000 yards. I thought he had a solid rookie season. These guys blame, Melvin Gordon's.
Also, he missed a game. He missed 3 games.
Yeah, 13 games. See, I didn't have stats on this. I told you guys to have stats on these bottom guys.
He missed
I'm just
3
saying.
games. He was suspended for 1 for conduct detrimental to the team.
Yeah, he held him hostage
To be honest, the whole
with a
team,
water pistol.
The whole team caught
Full
him
of
by
Gatorade.
surprise last year. They caught everyone by surprise last year, and he was like the feature star of the team. I mean, Bortles was not the guy. Bortles.
Well, we got our first official caller on the line.
Oh, wow.
You're calling into
Animal on the line.
Hey, you're calling into the Effin Football podcast. What's your name, listener?
Hi, this is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. Hey, welcome to the podcast. Our first caller on the Effin
Are you Italian?
Football podcast.
First time caller, long time listener.
Really appreciate your show. It's very honest and very American. But I do have to ask you 2 questions.
Shoot.
Yeah, shoot him. Shoot him, Lorenzo. Shoot him, Zo.
Okay, part 1. The one-armed running back that Seattle drafted, how do you think he will do? And what will they call him when he takes a left wing or a right wing? Will it be like a left arm or a right wing?
Oh man, I'm so
There's a lot
glad-
of things wrong with that question.
I'm so glad that you brought up the running back that Seattle drafted, because he didn't make our top 10 list, but Rashad Penny was really a player that I really wanted to talk about during this podcast. And, I'm so glad that this random caller, who sounds like they may be referencing a different player, but if you want to talk about that running back they drafted, man, the 2-armed out of San Diego State, Rashad
that
Penny.
guy, okay.
He led the nation over 170 yards per game in his last season at San Diego State. The guy is a monster. The Seahawks drafted him. Talk about a team with no offensive line. They're worse than the Chargers. But man, that Rashad Penny guy, what would you call him if he lost an arm?
Rashad Nickel.
It's more than a penny.
He would gain. That means he would gain something.
And another question, podcast please. Has Russell Wilson grown any taller?
Russell Wilson still
It's
stands.
very possible.
You
You don't stop growing until you're 25.
He's with that professional.
Oh, you mean his height?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. Who's this girl? Sierra.
Sierra.
Yeah. The Sierra Mountains. They go really tall. Like,
Sierra Leone.
dude, they're colder than the mountains on the side of a cold Coors Light. So I would say I would give the guy the opportunity. If anybody could grow taller, I think it would be Russell Wilson. If I had my trust in anybody, being able to in the league to be able to grow an inch.
And you know what? Even if he doesn't, it's okay because he's quick, and he's nimble and he's got good vision. He doesn't need to be big. He doesn't need to be physical. He doesn't need to be strong.
He has 2 arms.
That is
correct.
correct.
That is a great observation, Cars.
Lorenzo, the guy's got. So, I could tell caller, hey, you said what's the running back they drafted, but I think you were talking about Shaquem Griffin, the exciting linebacker prospect that they drafted.
Oh, okay. They had told me something about the right wing run, and that was bad information. I saw Russell Wilson standing right next to Phillip Rivers. It did not seem fair.
It's not.
It's not. I mean, only one of them wears, a
bolo tie.
only one of them wears a bolo tie. Only one of them has 17 kids. And only another one of them, could play professionally for a baseball team. So, you win some, you lose some.
Is the rumor true that Tim Tebow is going to go to the new LA Chargers?
I heard those rumors too, and I think that they might, caller, you're going to have to check into Adam Schefter's podcast because I don't have that sort of insider info. But, breaking news, there are some rumors out there that the you can tell by the caller who called in, they've heard about it. That the Chargers were interested in pursuing Tim Tebow.
As what?
It is so amazing we have training camp opening soon. It's soon to see, 40 or 50 losers get cut. That's what's kind of, that worries me. Where were these boys go? Do they go to sports arena football?
Caller, I gotta cut you off there, man. We don't like to be pessimistic here at the Effin Football Podcast. These guys work hard enough to make it in the league. I like some of the points you made. Don't like the last one, So, we're gonna move on. Lorenzo, hey, thank you for calling into the podcast.
Thanks so much. I so enjoy that Effin Football Podcast.
And we appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Our first official Effin Football caller. Lorenzo.
Hey. Lover.
Shout out to Lorenzo.
Latin lover.
Cheers to that, man. We got fans.
Cheers to love.
The fans are excited. They're calling in the podcast. They have questionable questions, but that's fine.
The phones are off the hook.
Plus, they're ringing a lot.
Yeah.
Anyways, Leonard Fournette, look forward to your next season.
You know what's funny is our
game
caller-
changing you bring. We like the game plays you play.
Our caller had no input on Leonard Fournette, the current topic.
It's okay.
Yeah, you know what? But that's fine, man.
We don't need our fans to put any input on our podcast.
We got to talk about Rashad Nichols, so that was fun.
I was hoping, it doesn't even seem like the caller was looking to go that direction, but you wanted to ask about the running back that was drafted in Seattle. Man, I wanted to talk about him. And I'm glad. I was going to put him in at number 10, but I knew that he wouldn't be on your guys' list, so I didn't want to waste the points. So, I got
that was a smart move.
I got Melvin Gordon in there, and you know what? That 1 point moved Melvin Gordon one higher than he would have been.
Milton Gordon?
Milton Gordon is what I wrote down in the paper. I was like, what's that?
All right, I'm done with Leonard Fournette.
I'm actually going backwards to the guy. I'm going backwards to the guy before him.
Right.
Hey, so check it out, man. Number 7, Leonard Fournette. Shout out to your boy. Go get some gumbo and make it happen, you know what I mean? But number 6, this guy's a real player. He doesn't pick up sticks. You know what I'm saying? So, what are you saying, Welty? What do you think about this young dude playing running back for the New Orleans Saints?
They get number 6. We got Mr. Slick. We got Mr. Alvin Kamara. He came bursting on the scene last season. Came out of nowhere to be the feature back there in New Orleans. The guy catches the ball. He runs the ball. He's a playmaker. You get him in space, you can't catch him. You can't tackle him. You can't find him. He's going to be in the end zone next time you see him. I got to say, the production on this guy is incredible, honestly. He just shows up. He puts up stats every single week. Any fantasy player that got Alvin Kamara on their team did pretty damn well. Like I said, they would have won some player bonuses in those weeks. I'm just saying. But no, he's a great player to watch. See, when you watch the eyeball test, he changes the game. You have to account for him on the field at all times because he can make plays out of the backfield, in between the tackles. He's overall just a great player. Maybe he can work on his pass blocking a little bit, but who cares? You make all those plays. Who needs it?
Yeah, for sure though. That's funny, man. All that amazing production, and his yards per touch are awesome. His production
it's like
was
6 point.
His production was identical to
6.1 yards in the time.
Mark Ingram. But that's great running the ball. 6.1 yards a tote. He rushed for 728 rushing yards. He actually had more receiving yards than rushing yards. He caught 81 passes. And he averaged 10.2 yards per reception out of the backfield. Amazing rookie year. 8 rushing touchdowns, 5 receiving touchdowns, man. This all plays into that combo with Mark Ingram. You know what I'm saying? The reason this guy gets room in the middle is because of that, that pounder. That eastbound
and lightning.
That eastbound and down pounder, you know what I mean? He's coming in here like Kenny Powers, smell it, you know what I mean?
La Flama Blanca.
I feel like La Flama Blanca. You know what I mean? So, I feel like they both their production feeds off each other. So this guy says one guy has an amazing production, the other guy doesn't make his list. I don't feel like
it's a marriage.
The other guy's suspended, so yeah, he didn't make my list.
Alvin Kamara, Say what you say whenever you want to set it when you were saying it. I feel like their production, depends upon each other, and it's to a certain degree. Not to take anything away from Alpha and Kamara, but like part about opening up that space and getting these guys, getting this dude these creases, is having to do with like sending Mark Ingram between the tackles. Straight up.
You think his production goes down because Melvin Ingram is not going to play in the first 4 games?
Mark Ingram.
It's hard.
Brought to you by Coors Light.
Ever Coors Light.
It's very possible because Mark Ingram is that pounder, that tough runner that can just go in between the tackles and take a lot of pressure off. So not having him there is going to be a little different. Hopefully they can find another guy.
You just need to get more touches and more yards. And
we'll see. We'll
get more touches.
We'll see what kind of player he is. Yeah, it's not.
Okay, his efficiency is like extremely like
on the high end.
Yeah,
sure.
like to
Who is the
sustain
third
that would
running
be
back
insane. If he sustained this efficiency, he would be like one of the best running backs or just players of all time. Yeah,
for sure. So yeah, he's bound. The numbers are bound to come down. He will get more numbers just by virtue of
his averages will go down. I think his
averages will go down for sure.
I think he's going to attain the same 1,500 yards from scrimmage and 13 touchdowns with Mark Ingram being out for 4 games.
And it's Drew Brees.
But I think his yards per touch will go down.
It's Drew Brees.
Who's the other running back over there? They have another running back. Whoever that third running back is, that's a fantasy football like asset for the first 4 weeks. That's all I know. I'm giving away my fucking, I'm not going to draft the dude anyways. Fuck that guy anyways. You know what? He's probably going to suck.
No, Rory, no. Grab all the third string running backs you can find, please. You'll find the gems. I promise you.
Yeah, and I'll go win $10 for it.
Alvin Kamara.
If you're lucky.
He's about to do some big things in the Big Easy.
I like the boy, man. He just
big thing in the Big Easy,
I like that collar.
He's gonna eat some boudin.
God damn it, what you doing over there? We going down the
Go for a
trying to
pole,
play
boy.
some games, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shrimp po'.
Yeah, give my son, Papa.
You gonna have a crawfish.
Expect big things from Alvin Kamara. It's coming. And he's also going to be playing
Plus, also,
well.
he's going to be playing.
Yeah.
The era field. He's probably gonna fuck some girls. Hey, congratulations, man. You're doing great, Alvin Kamara. You the man. Way to check in at number 6 on our list of the top 10 running backs for 2018 season. And I just want to talk about this for this podcast.
All right, on to number 5.
Number 5, 5 for 5. 5 for 5 deal. I think you get 5 for 5 at Burger King now. It's like 5 chicken sandwiches,
Running backs?
5 running backs off the top 10 list, and 5 things of fries and 5 Cokes for $5.
Damn.
The economy's in the shits.
That's sad. Alright. Number 5 is Ezekiel Elliott.
Boom.
Zeke.
Rolling down the street in his 6'4", we got Easy E.
Hey!
Oh.
Is
that what they call him?
He's juking some touchdowns, scoring some more. Hey, we can finish out the song. All right.
Ruthless.
Man, Zeke is the motherfucking man. We're talking about Ohio State.
The
Ohio State. Dude's a man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, Zeke came in at number 5 on my list, and that's where he ranks here. Where he coming on your list?
Ooh, I think he was number 5 actually.
Dollar sign?
He was 6, I believe.
Man, the guy, like, I wanted to rank him higher, man. And before I dug into the stats, I had him higher on my rankings, and I had to go legitimize everything. And
Well, I mean, he missed some time last year too. So
He only played 10 games due to the 6-game suspension he had, and still almost had 1,000 yards rushing.
983,
983,
7 touchdowns. I mean,
4.1 average.
4.1. Still a very productive back for the Cowboys.
That would have been 1,300 yards in a full season.
Totally.
Something like that.
And 10+ touchdowns.
Top 5 running back numbers.
I just can't justify putting him ahead of anybody else on our list.
That was
man.
really what it was.
You know
like,
what I
that
mean?
was the
Like,
biggest thing.
But as much as I say that, I really wanted to. I guess I could have been more ballsy, but like I had such a tough time at the top of this list that like trying to justify him in there. With this guy, you got to think about what's in front of him and the quality level of that offensive line. And I originally had him as high as 2 when I first started my list, and like I just had to keep dropping him down as I analyzed the other top backs. I just couldn't justify it, but I could see in a world where he's the number 1 back next year.
In
a world where a back plays 16 games.
where running backs don't get suspended.
Behind the most dominant offensive line then.
Tyron Smith. Doug Free.
Zach Martin. Lyle Collins. In. Doug Free. We had trouble listing the ups.
It wasn't bad, yes. Wasn't bad.
Get down! There's a bomb by the Bengals! Ezekiel Elliott in. Number 5 for the 2018
Hey.
running backs.
Bagels are for sales associates.
Bagels are for top 5.
Excuse me?
Excuse me? Bagels are for top 5 running backs over, man. This guy. How come not for me 5? You actually are 5, bro. Sorry, man. That's where you came in. Zeke, I wanted to put you higher. I think you could be a number 1 running back in the
You've
league.
seen it already.
I wouldn't be surprised,
Totally
man.
do it again.
If this guy came in at number 1, would not surprise me. Would not surprise me whatsoever.
Honestly, with all these top 5 backs, in terms of just how they play and their style and their skill, I think they're all almost equal. It's not even. It's just a matter
But-
of offense they play in and how they're going to be featured and what they're going to be doing as far as production. It's, in terms of skill sets, they're all right there. Maybe there's one guy I might say is just a neck above the rest, but it's just a matter of scheme and team. So
Dude,
We'll see.
I'm going to say there's a huge drop from 5 to 6 through 10. And from the drop from 10 down, man, that's why that's why everybody takes running backs in fantasy. There's not a lot of options, man.
Better get your back.
You better get some backs, dude. Cause there's not. But these top 5, I could have shifted this list in almost any which way, and been satisfied. And at the end of the season, I feel like these top 5, you could see this laid out, and we could put it in we could make it some Yahtzee dice or some shit.
Yahtzee.
Blah blah. Each one has a picture of the guy. Man, we throw them down. They could list in a different order. If you threw them out there on simulations on Madden or whatever, like in real life Madden next year, depending upon injuries and availability, like I think these guys could rank any which way here.
Yeah.
Now that we're at this level, Ezekiel Elliott, he comes in at 5, but I could see him being number 1. You know what I mean? Behind that offensive line, that's his biggest strength, the offensive line. Like, where's your head at? You know what I mean? He was a beast as a rookie. You know, that I don't know if anybody watches that Amazon series, All or Nothing. It's excellent. It's a really good series. The first season they did on Arizona Cardinals a couple years ago. The last season they did it on Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys. There's one with Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan Wolverines. Really good. You know, it's like Hard Knocks, only it's instead of training camp, it's fucking real shit. It's for the regular season. So I don't mean to give him such a big plug, but like you could see this guy's head getting fucked up by that suspension. You know, showing up like he shows up. Are you allowed to be at the facility? Are we gonna have you this week or not? He comes into the meetings. His running backs coach is like, well, if we have you, it's gonna go like this. If we don't have you, nobody knows. All this indecision. You know, and that definitely. And he still put up, you know, for only 10 games, just a shy, you know, one run under 1,000 yards, 283 yards. Could have broke that off on one carry. You know, I think he's going to have a big year.
There's going to be weeks where he leads the league in rushing, without a doubt. He drops 3 touchdowns and 150 yards.
Plus, no Dez, no Jason Witten. Like, this is why I considered putting him as high as number 2, is be like, thinking about these projections. See if he gets a full 16-game season with no Dez Bryant there, no Jason,
suspensions looming,
no Jason Witten, and like 3 All Pros on his offensive line, and another player who's all of Pro Bowl status, and Leo Collins. You know what I mean? Like,
without question, he's the leader of that football team.
Dude, he's gonna get some major production and production numbers that could put him at number 1, possibly. You know, but we have him at number 5 on our list, and that just, you know, we're at the cream of the crop right now. You know, we're at the top of the stack, man.
It's the crop of the cream.
It's, you know, You better like put that on your fucking hot fudge sundae, cause
Cherry on top of this shit right here. Whipped cream.
It's nuts.
Lots of nuts.
That's nuts.
That's nuts, man.
These nuts.
That's nuts, man. That's nuts, man. All right, I like, anything else you want to add, $sign on number 5?
Looking forward to a bounce back year where you come in the league and you dominate like you know you can. We'll see you, Easy E.
Easy E at number 5. Number 4, man. We got the 4th on the list, man. This is number 4, man. I need it. Need it. Who's number 4, man? I need it.
Kareem.
Oh. Kareem Hunt.
Just another great rookie running back season.
Oh man.
I mean,
what round did I draft him in our fantasy football draft?
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Best pick of the year.
Ted doesn't care.
Even Jack Fox will admit to that. I had the best pick of the draft. Didn't win me a championship, but Kareem Hunt, man.
Didn't get him to the playoffs.
Ty Dolla, tell me all about this motherfucker.
Kareem Hunt had a sick year. He rushed for 1327, 8 touchdowns, averaged 4.9 yards a carry, and caught 53 passes for about 500 yards and 3 touchdowns. I mean, he was a sick rookie running back. I mean, that's a great season for any running back. And to come in, getting drafted in the 3rd round, coming in on the Chiefs, so probably the best offense all year, and to be the main guy running the ball was insane.
I don't see him doing anything different next year. I literally see him having the exact same year. Maybe catching more passes out of the backfield with the young quarterback checking down. But yeah, like with Alex Smith gone, they're going to be leaning on this guy even more than they did last year. And he's
Good point.
Yeah, like seriously. Like
I think that
their offense is now going through Kareem Hunt unquestionably. I mean, still having that awesome tight end doesn't hurt. And then Tyreek Hill just more as good as anybody in the game. He stretches that defense, which is only going to help Kareem Hunt have bigger holes for bigger plays and those long touchdowns to score all these fantasy players a shit ton of points. So expect more of the same.
they have crazy weapons. I mean, they have the best tight end in the league.
Gronk?
Next to Gronk.
Okay. I see you say that.
Tyreek Hill is just like Weapon X, can do anything on the field. He's the fastest guy on the field. And Patrick Mahomes is a big X factor. I don't know what he's going to do. My biggest fear is that he is like the next Brett Favre and just shreds everyone.
Yeah, Brett Favre, man.
Brett Favre. And he just shreds everyone, and the Chiefs become an even better version of what they were last year.
Can I make a prediction?
What?
Patrick Mahomes is more Blake Bortles than Brett Favre.
Well, that's
I
what
think he's a
that's
little
what I'm hoping.
overhyped.
What I think is probably going to
way
happen.
overhyped.
That's what I think is going to happen.
But you never know.
But I'm scared.
It could be Carson Wentz.
I'm scared.
Could be
he's
Deshaun
got-
Watson.
he's got
He could be
skills.
Blake Bortles. I think everyone's super high on him. He's extremely talented, but
Why did Andy Reid sheep out? Sheep out. He's not part of the herd. He's not a sheep. He shipped out Alex Smith. You can take a ship to wherever you want to go to. You can take a ship.
because Alex Smith can't win playoff games. They had to move on. They figured it out. They learned. It's like,
Do you
hey,
really
we can
put
have one
that
of the best.
Titans game on Alex Smith's shoulders? I would put that on Andy Reid's coaching.
I mean,
Somebody's got to be the scapegoat, I guess.
that was a scapegoat as soon as he was drafted. It didn't matter whose
Alex
fault
Smith
it was.
had one of the best years statistically for any
Oh,
quarterback.
he was
last year.
fantastic. He was honestly
amazing stat line.
extremely efficient. He got the ball
He only had 5
downfield better than he
picks.
did in his entire career with Tyreek
I think
Hill.
he completed more passes at a higher efficiency for more touchdowns at 20 yards plus than any quarterback in the league last year.
Yeah, I wonder how many like negative plays that team has because it just
And you
seems
gotta
like they
remember-
always move the ball forward. They never do anything stupid. They never turn the ball over. They're consistently moving the ball ahead. There's no big -5, -7 yard plays, nothing like that.
I'm a big Kareem Hunt supporter, man. I supported that guy before anybody knew who the fuck he was. You know, I locked him down on my roster and he carried me for the first half of the season. My only knock on this guy, and you know, it happens to a lot of rookies, man. In the second half of the season, his production really fell off to a certain point. And you know, it has to do with attrition. I'm sure with a year in the pros under his belt,
He's a little smaller though, no, right? He's not as big as these Easy E's, as these Melvin Gordons, Mark Ingram, Saquon Barkley.
He's not any smaller than Melvin Gordon. I can guarantee that. Why do you think Melvin Gordon's so big? What is that guy?
They have him listed at 5'11", 216.
What is Melvin
Gordon
weigh?
He's probably got an extra 20 pounds on that. And
Melvin Gordon not running around at 238, man.
228 at least.
So you're saying 10 pounds?
Let's see.
I gotta know this.
The guy's over 6 foot.
Because I remember Melvin Gordon in college when he was coming out of fucking Wisconsin.
Dude.
When I would compare him and Todd Gurley were 1 and 2. Todd Gurley, I had 1 in the draft. Melvin Gordon, I had 2.
Melvin Gordon, 6'1", 215.
No.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, why do you think that this is such a big guy? He's not a big guy.
He's not a big bruiser.
That's why he can't average more than 4 yards a carry, bro. Kareem Hunt can. Kareem Hunt's a much better player than Melvin Gordon's a top 10 running back for the season. I already put him on my list. He's on our list. He's in there. I don't want to hate on the guy. If you're top 10 in the NFL running back, it means you're a motherfucking monster.
I had Kareem Hunt number 2.
There's not that many good running backs.
I'm just saying I had him in number 2.
You had Kareem Hunt number 2. Like, I had him at number 4. I had him as high as number 2 at one time when I was going through my list, but, I wanted to put him higher than 4, but, like, I just, you do the stat breakdown, I just couldn't do it. But what he did do was put up over 17,000 or 1,700 yards from scrimmage last year, scored 11 touchdowns. He's a playmaker, out of the backfield. And he's a playmaker with the ball, when he catches it. 4.9 yards per carry average. This is what you want to look at. This is the big difference between a Kareem Hunt and a Melvin Gordon. It's over a yard difference in average.
Oh, he's more efficient, that's for sure.
More
that
efficient.
Offense gets them the ball in open space.
In a passing league, you only get so many carries, and coaches will give up on a running back quickly. If you don't produce in the first half, you won't get the ball in the second half. So this is the type of player who can go out there and do it consistently. He had a little fall off towards the end of the year last year, but if he didn't have that fall off, his stats would have been, who led the league in rushing last year? Do you guys know? It's Kareem Hunt. He had the most rushing yards in the league last year. I don't know if you guys know that.
I have him number 2, man.
Yeah, he led the league in rushing last year in yards. His yards per carry is elite at 4.9. All the running backs I have ahead of him, he has a better rushing average per carry than all of them, on the rest of the list that we have on the rest of our list. So, it is what it is, man. This is another guy. Could be number 1 next year.
I will say
Easily.
this, out of our top 5, I will say Kareem Hunt is more a product of the system than any of the other guys. Like, these other guys could go to any other system and be dominant. Kareem Hunt, I think, if he leaves Andy Reid, I think his production goes down enough to take him out of the top 5.
How can you say that versus the guy who checks in at number 2? You don't got to say his name, but when he changed systems from the year before to last year,
his rookie year, he was solid. All right, his rookie year.
But his second year he was garbage, and then they changed systems.
His team was garbage.
How can you say that he's the most system dependent? I don't agree with that at all.
Absolutely.
Because when you look at the guy below him, Ezekiel Elliott, take him out of that stud offensive line. Like, is he that dominant? He's a great player, but is he that dominant?
Yeah, I mean, he takes over games.
Like,
I would put Ezekiel Elliott over Kareem Hunt if the system was the same.
Does anybody rank the Chiefs' offensive line as a top 10 offensive line? I don't think that they are, and I don't think they're ranked that way.
Some top picks on that line. It's not like they got some jokers on there.
Top tits.
Great offensive lineman, anyways. Honestly, yeah, I don't hate on Kareem Hunt. I just think the offense is extremely efficient, and I think these other guys, sans everything else, would, out of the top 5, he would probably drop down to the bottom of it. Just pure talent.
But you had him at number 2.
Because that offense is extremely efficient. They get him the ball in the passing game, and Tyreek Hill creates a lot of open spaces for that guy.
Thank you, Frau. Welcome to the Effin Football Podcast.
All right. I think a lot of it is...
Which running back do I buy then?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how Patrick Mahomes does. I think a lot of things are going to be...
If anything, I think it leads to
dependent on that.
More carries for Kareem Hunt. Yeah, is what I think.
Maybe not as efficient, though.
Maybe, he looked good. Yeah, you're right, man. When you spread the offense like that, and like Alex Smith, as much as he gets hated on, game manager, he really pushed the ball downfield. But that's why they promoted Mahomes. Strong arm. The idea is promote push the ball down the field.
I think it's the
Sammy
same exact
Watkins.
season. I think the season's going to be almost the stats similar. I think that
You got Tyreek Hill and Sammy Watkins, who was a big money signing, and they're like, oh, for why so much money? Well,
He sucks.
he's very fast, and like if you look at his numbers too and his efficiency,
All right.
he led the league in balls over 40 yards or something since he came into the season.
You
Or
put
started
Kareem Hunt
Kareem.
on the Giants and Saquon Barkley on the Chiefs. Where do you think they rank?
I don't know. I want to see Saquon. You put Saquon Barkley
Saquon
in.
Barkley probably has a really awesome year.
He's in the big.
I think he does better than Kareem Hunt
He
does.
played at Penn State, which isn't SEC. You know what I mean? They're Big 12, right? Not even the best conference. And his numbers
Big
like
10.
Big 10. Well, I thought they moved it. I thought they changed it to the Big 12.
No.
Solid
Big
NFL
Ten?
players
Big
come
Ten.
out of Penn State. Hating on Penn State is not a good argument. They've had great defensive players. They've had good offensive line. They've always been known for being tough. I wouldn't
Saquon
I wouldn't
Barkley
say-
did not put up monstrous college statistics, dude.
I mean,
They
there's a lot of
weren't
guys
they weren't that great.
There's a lot of guys that go from the college to the pros without monster statistics, but
He's not going to be.
the production shows up in the
It's not
NFL
gonna be
just
Bo
because
Jackson.
he's not going to be Bo Jackson. I know because you're the Raiders fan. You don't want anybody ever to be Bo Jackson, and if they ever come close, you'll argue to the end that there's no way they could be.
Well, if Bo Jackson had a son who was playing football, I would want him to be as good as Bo Jackson.
Is that Mo Jackson?
It's
Bo J,
yeah, I actually know that dude. He's one of my buds. I call him Bro Jackson.
Joe Jackson.
No Jackson.
Oh,
He's dead.
No Jackson.
He's dead.
dude, he's actually kind of slow.
Slow Jackson?
I did not set that up properly. I didn't want to say retarded.
He's
so
not,
I
my,
was trying
he's
to
not
go
my
with-
friend. He's my foe, Jackson.
Oh, he's not gonna collect $200. He's not gonna be Pasco Jackson.
All right, that's enough. Kareem Hunt, yeah. He's
Yeah,
really good.
He's a cool guy,
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
He's a good
He's
shit.
good at football.
dude. I heard that guy is really into like camo stuff and like rifles and like going out and being in nature and.
There is just a video of him.
You saying he likes to go hunt?
I'd say he likes to go Kareem Hunt.
Oh.
TMZ
that's
just released
so
a
stupid.
video on him though.
Yeah, what was this?
Apparently assaulting a woman at a hotel.
What?
The video is not of him assaulting her, but it's of him interviewing with police and the woman in question interviewing with the police. as
Yeah,
well.
you brought this up earlier, and I said, "Is this going
And
to
I
affect
didn't-
my top 10
I didn't
list?"
hear about it until I was looking him up.
And I like
before the
that you
podcast.
remembered to bring that up all of a sudden when we were about to move on.
So you never know. I also want to mention we have an omission on the list that is usually a perennial top 10 guy, LaShawn McCoy,
Oh
because
yeah.
of the situation that's going on with him.
Yeah, I don't think he plays this year at all.
You know,
Everybody
It's a
thinks-
really fucked up
To be
situation,
honest-
and if he's guilty, which it seems like he is,
That guy's not going to be
I don't
free.
know if he's gonna play again.
I think he's 29. If I'm going to put
29 years in jail?
LaShawn McCoy was not making my list in front of Marshawn Lynch. I'll tell you that fucking much. And Marshawn Lynch didn't make it. And Marshawn Lynch, out of players who had over 200 carries last year, he was number 5 in yards per carry. So, like, get the fuck out of town. It was like 4.3 or something like that, man. The guy is an efficient running back. And, if we had to rely on him behind a solid offensive line, he could put up top 10 numbers this year. But I wasn't going to talk about him, but we're going to bring up LaShawn McCoy.
Hey, Pepperidge Farms
had-
remembers, bro. Pepperidge Farms.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Yeah. When Marshawn Lynch was a top 10 running back.
Yeah, what, the second half of last season in every statistical category? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, if you cherry pick the games that you want, you can
It's
pretty
what
much
happens.
find, and you can find Bilal Powell as the top running back in the
According
league.
to you, they're not going to game plan for whatever running back you're talking about for this through all 16 games. For Mark Ingram, oh yeah, they're not going to figure out the game plan of the Saints. Like, going into week 17, man, this is a passing team. We haven't learned anything about him, man. We're expecting him to just air it out, and Mark Ingram's going to reap the benefits.
You'd be
Hey,
surprised,
come on, man.
In the back of these coaches' minds, all the time, they think This is Drew Brees. He's going to pass. This is, Sean freaking whatever, the coach. They're going to pass.
Sean McVay.
No, it's not Sean McVay.
Sean William Scott.
Sean Payton? We're talking about the Saints.
Yeah, there we go. Sean Payton.
Yeah, sorry, my mind drifted.
He's always been is the creative offensive mind that's going to push the ball downfield, and I think that has a big effect on play calling and the way players react. That doesn't happen anymore. That's gone. That's an illusion nobody has anymore.
This burp break is brought to you by Coors Burp. If you want to burp out of a can, go in and get one of these cool.
Hey,
All right, guys. Let's move on to number 3.
I'm looking for number
Number
three.
three.
Number 3. Give me 3. Give me 3 flies up.
The power of
Like,
3.
remember your little kid playing 3 flies up? How dope was that?
1, 2,
3.
3. Okay.
I
we're
mean, so
good.
you know why Steph Curry makes so much money? Because he shoots the 3. You know what I'm saying?
If you
So-
shake it 3 times, you're playing with yourself.
I shake it 3 times, shake it 3 times, baby, shake it 3 times, I'm
Hey!
So yeah, let's move on to motherfucking number 3. And hey, I think we gotta let Welty introduce this guy,
Okay.
Dolla, right?
That's only fair.
It's not fair. It's not fair. This isn't fair at all.
Life ain't fair.
Yeah, well, you know what? Still made the playoffs. Last year, drafted this guy number 1 overall in my draft, just like many of you did. Number 1 consensus, David Johnson, DJ. He's supposed to be a monster out of the backfield. He can play special teams. He can return kickoffs. And he's just a monster between the tackles. And this guy breaks a wrist first game. But still, it's a fluky injury. This guy is a dope NFL player, right? He does everything. Honestly, talent-wise, I think he's the best. Honestly, he's got the speed. He's got the size. This dude's a big dude.
Wait, is he big?
He's a big.
Is he fast?
He's physical.
Is he physical?
He's big, fast, and physical.
Oh my goodness!
I challenge you to find something this guy doesn't do well.
6'1", 225.
Dude,
Monster. What's his 40? I don't know.
I don't know.
Where's my stat guy?
he ran a 4.44 40 when he was a freshman.
Like
Dude.
Jay-Z.
Like
This guy was
Jay-Z.
like Kareem Hunt. He got drafted in like the 3rd round or something like that. It came out of nowhere.
He got drafted in the ever 3rd round, number 86 overall.
round.
Out of
University of Arizona?
Northern Iowa.
Northern Iowa. I just got a Phoenix in my head. Anyways, I cannot find a weakness in this guy's game. The only reason for me he's at number 3 and not number 1.
Where did you rank him?
I had him at number 3.
You had him at number 3?
That's where I had him.
Yeah.
It's just because of the Cardinals. Like I'm gonna have to rely on Sam Bradford to help this guy get
And or
sacks.
Josh Rosen.
Yeah, it's still a rookie, unproven. So like he's gonna have growing pains if he comes in week 5 or 6 and takes over the offense. And so
All the more reason they're going to lean on him, though, right?
well, still they can lean on him, but how much production is that whole offense gonna get as a whole? Like,
What are they, Bill Withers?
Lean
on me.
when
when
you're
you're
strong.
And I'll be your friend.
I
I'll
help you carry on. David Johnson will help you carry on. I love this guy though. I do. He's a great player.
That's a great-
If honestly, if they get some good quarterback play,
Audit.com.
if he gets good quarterback play,
Joe
this
Rogan.
guy is gonna be. He's gonna do what David Johnson does, and he's gonna.
Dude, I hope he doesn't play with the quarterbacks too much, man. Just focus on football. Get out of the sand pit. Get off the jungle gym. Get off the monkey bars. Let's just make it happen. You know what I mean? David Johnson. Where do you have him ranked?
I had him number 3 as well.
Number 3. I think I elevated David Johnson into his ranking here because I had him at number 1 on my list. Gave him some extra points.
If they have a balanced offense, man, there is no reason he can't be number 1.
Yeah, dude. I really battled with the list, and the reason I moved him up is because, I had a blank. I'd love to have a blank check. You know what I mean? Go cash that thing. I'm going to the fucking Galapagos. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go learn some things about. I'm going to the Caymans. I'm gonna go learn some things about evolution. You know what I mean? the evolution of a running back. This guy, I don't have 2017 stats, but when you look at his 2016 stats, stack him up next to
Monster.
stack him up next to every running back on our list from 2017. He had the best season out of any of them. You know, in 2016, he played 16 games, had 1,239 rushing yards, had a 4.2 average, 16 rushing touchdowns. He also caught 80 passes for 879 yards.
2,000 yards all purpose. Jesus.
11 yards per catch, 4 touchdowns additionally. So his scrimmage yards, 2118, 2,118 with 20 touchdowns. It's a better season than any running back on our list had last year. You know, it happens to come the year before, but you know the caveat is the beautiful thing about David Johnson. You know why I ranked him number 1 on my list is because you know he didn't tear an ACL. You know he doesn't have an Achilles injury.
Fluky injury.
He didn't break his ankle. You know what I'm saying? He didn't like tear a hamstring. This guy broke his wrist.
We could have won a championship together, bro. You could have been my man.
And I'm telling you this much. If you go that long without being able to jerk off, this guy is going to be fucking fired up. You know what I mean? Like, fired up to tackle it. You just got the wrist out of the cast. Like, this guy's like, nah, that's stupid. But his wrist is 100% according to all reports.
His opposite wrist is going to be a lot stronger this year.
Dude, think about the left arm. Yeah, I'm not sure which arm that he broke.
I don't know, but...
Which wrist he broke. You know, this guy's going to be a monster, man, you know, and you know he just wants to go out there and prove it. Everybody forgot about David Johnson. All the rankings have him outside at 5 or outside the top 5 because there's so many good running backs.
Y'all forgot about DJ.
Don't forget about this dude, man. I know this guy.
I think having Sam Bradford is actually going to benefit him because Sam Bradford is the check down king.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just going to be reception after reception for David Johnson.
Just
coming
boom,
out of the backfield.
And he's got soft hands.
Just the wheel route.
And he's big. You looked up Melvin Gordon. Like, David Johnson, how big is he?
He's 10 pounds heavier.
Man, the guy's like, but he looks 10 pounds heavier than he actually is.
He's a beast.
He's ripped. He's like one of those fucking Greek statues. Like, he's a fucking, man, that guy.
He's faster too, I don't know.
He's fast, he's nimble. You know, he catches the ball like a wide receiver. Like, everybody's sleeping on this dude. I have him number 1 on my list. Number 1.
We're sleeping at him at number 3. In a nutshell...
Oh, I'm trapped in a nutshell. I'm trapped in a nutshell. This is me in a nutshell.
He's number 1 in a nutshell.
Yeah, hey, number 1 in a nutshell. Number 3 on our list, man.
Turtles in a half shell.
Dude, turtles in a half shell, clams in a half.
Turtle power.
Oysters in a double. You know, we're just doing everything opposite over here, man. You know what I mean? It's the Effin Football Podcast is how we do it.
Are we ready to move on?
Man, I feel the crowd is like, you know, we're getting like heckled over here.
We got the boo birds, huh?
We got the boo birds. It's like, I think somebody's got a cold out there or something.
Number 2.
We make the audience wait outside, like we're releasing the podcast. Number 2, deuces.
Ew.
Dope. This is a dope dose. You know, Number 2. What we got on number 2 for our list? We got Todd motherfucking Gurley. All right, this guy.
Gurley man.
This guy, man, I tossed a lot of, I tossed a lot of nails on him, bro. You know.
You were a hater last year.
I was a hater going into the draft, the fantasy football draft, man. I dropped him off my list. I was like, I'm not even drafting this dude after what he did in 2016. If you stack his 2016 season next to David Johnson's 2016 season, you'll be like, oh, these guys will never be on the same page. These guys will never be in the same conversation. But, you know, you go from a bad Rams team to a good Rams team. You know, you get rid of Jeff Fisher.
Sounds like he changed teams.
You know, yeah, he basically did. Was last year's Rams team a different team than the year before?
Absolutely.
They went from last to first in offense, total offense in the NFL. That's like the first time it's ever been done in NFL history.
That's amazing. You know, they used to have the most amazing show on turf. The greatest show on turf.
Greatest show on turf.
You know, man, this is the greatest guy with girth in terms of his career progression going on from this point, man. Because
you can say that. Yeah.
He had the one drop off year. last year was amazing. His stat line was stupid, ridiculous.
Watch
So-
him play. Watch his highlights. Like,
And they
Jesus
kept him out.
Christ.
They kept him out. They were doing the Rams did so well that he couldn't play in the last week of the
He
season.
missed one game. He would
So-
have been the rushing champion. He would have.
He would have beaten out Kareem Hunt. In 15 games, he had 1,305 rushing yards at a 4.7 average. Not quite Kareem's 4.9, but still elite.
Still elite.
This is elite. 13 rushing touchdowns, top the league. 64 catches, which is like that's definitely within the top 10. I think it's top 5 at running back. 788 receiving yards, which is a 12.3 yards per catch. I think he topped the league in that too for running backs.
Insane.
Ridiculous.
And 6 receiving touchdowns on top. So
19 total touchdowns.
man, the guy's a monster, dude. And as much as like you gotta give respect where respect is due, man. And the guy's got the production. He's in an offense. I don't see any reason why it would change next year.
Seriously, I mean,
You know.
if you're like the vocal point of the #1 offense,
And
you're
Sean
gonna be on
McVay's
the top
a-
of somebody's list
Sean
in
McVay
offense.
is
He's a
the
smart
best-
play
the
caller.
Best young coach in the NFL.
He knows how to
tree-
teach those
whose tree
millennials.
does he come out of?
Are you racist?
He comes out of Gruden's tree, man. He's a Gruden disciple.
Is he?
Gruden's his mentor. So, like, yeah, dude, this guy knows where the money's at. McVay knows that Todd Gurley's his money. And that's like, you know, as much I was hating on Gurley coming in, I didn't know McVay would be so good. I knew that Gurley was misused the year before in 2016, like I got that. But I didn't know if they would figure that out, you know, the next season. They totally did.
I don't think a lot of people knew.
The guy had a bounce back season. Jack Fox stole him in whatever round he stole him in our drafts. Yeah, because, like, it's not just me. He fell down the board.
Yeah.
Where did he get swooped up at? Like, Kareem Hunt was still in the 5th round for me. Where did he get Gurley at?
3rd round.
Pretty
Yeah,
damn low.
yeah, pretty damn low for the production, man. The guy's a monster. He's a beast. Just like we've said.
He's MVP runner-up.
Was he runner-up?
Yeah.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Based on the production, the 19 touchdowns, the 2,093 scrimmage yards. He's a super monster.
Playoff team. It all worked out. It all came together for Todd Gurley. I think it's going to continue to come together. Great coach, good quarterback. I think he makes Jared Goff better.
He'll be
Oh,
20.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He'll be
Brandon Cooks just got signed. You know, they're signing a bunch of dudes left and right this offseason. They're going,
Oh, they've had a great offseason.
they're going for it.
An amazing
you know?
offseason.
They're totally going
Super
for
Bowl
it.
contention. You think?
Perhaps. I mean, everything has
The
to
Rams?
work. Everything has to
Yeah, I
mesh
mean, they got
perfectly.
to win the
Jared
division.
Goff
Jared Goff.
is what it'll come down to.
Yeah, he's got to net up for sure.
Nut up
Or
shut up.
Yep.
I think he played really well last year, but like, you
We'll
know,
see how it goes.
supporting cast, you know, or have an amazing, or sign, or trade for Nick Foles and have him as your backup quarterback in case anything happens to Goff, because Foles will handle the issue.
Hey, we'll watch LA and see how it happens. But Todd Gurley, you were the reason that team happened. You're it.
If you got an issue, here's the tissue. Anyways, like, you know,
Sorry, Jeff Fisher misused you.
dude, Jeff Fisher's a fucking idiot.
You should just be a defensive special team coach. You'd
What's
be
your
great
opinion?
at that.
I just read a news article that he got signed by one of the stations to be a broadcaster.
It's
Like to
fine.
be
Jeff
like,
Fisher.
yeah.
It's not like he doesn't know football. He just doesn't know how to run a good offense.
He's not an offensive guy.
Yeah, man. Does he know football?
I don't think he.
How many 500
I don't think
teams?
he grew with modern football. I think he just kind of got left behind and didn't change.
He never had a prime.
He went
Go
to the Super Bowl.
to the Pro Football Focus and look up the statistical record for this guy.
No, he's totally one of like the
He says-
secretly worst.
as
like,
mediocre
coaches.
as it gets.
Yeah.
Dude. As mediocre, and the fact that he was able to extend his career out, he must be a really nice guy, or maybe he has
It's the stash.
He has a
man.
good
It's
interview.
all about the stash.
Mustache, like,
Probably the best stash in the game.
you know what I mean?
He looks like he would be like at a NASCAR race,
Dude, he does look like
just chugging a 6-pack.
a Budweiser. Give me a gold Budweiser. I'm gonna go home, start my Chevy S10 pickup truck, meet my boy Billy Bob, we'll shoot some
In a
shotguns,
tank top.
and we'll drink some Budweiser.
Kind of looks like Randy Marsh in a way.
Yeah, he reminds me of
He
this.
is Randy Marsh.
He reminds me.
He is
of
the
this.
if Randy Marsh
He's got his
was
vibe.
an NFL
Yeah.
coach.
I thought this
He'd
was
be
America.
I thought this was Jeff Fisher, man. Jeff Fisher's America. I
That-
guarantee Jeff Fisher voted for Donald Trump.
I'll
I'll
tell
tell
you
you that
what.
much. I guarantee that Jeff Fisher voted for Donald Trump. And we're not political here. You know, who knows? I may have. But we're not going to touch on all that sort of shit. So, you know, shout out to Todd Gurley. Somebody met him.
I met him one time.
I was hoping that would come up at some point.
You met him on Tinder?
Hey, why you tell the story?
met him-
I'm
I met
gonna
him
take an
on-
effing football pee, all
I
right?
met him on Grindr.
We're on the number one. You're gonna take a pee right
This
now?
pee
Come on,
break is
dude.
sponsored. I have to.
Ah,
have to. Tell the story.
All right, so I was on a road trip with my friends a couple years ago, going up and down the California coast.
okay.
Stopped in Oxnard, home of the Rams training camp.
Oh, the Cowboys play there too.
Cowboys play there,
Okay.
and we stopped at Costco, and we were getting camping supplies.
Okay.
And who do I see but Todd Gurley
Okay.
getting primed and ready for a great season?
Was he able to eat some of those samples?
No, he had Starbucks in one hand and his phone in the other, and he was looking at rugs
Okay. Yeah.
and looking at liquor bottles.
Just got paid, ready to
That was
party.
it. That was it.
I'd be a little hesitant if I saw him drinking, looking at liquor bottles. I'd be like, well, this
Just
is
looking at
fun.
him, he wasn't buying.
Just observing.
He
Okay.
he didn't buy anything. He was just walking around. I think he was just getting away from the game.
Did you say hi? Did you go say what's up?
I actually did. I went up and I was like, hey man, you're awesome.
Oh yeah, geeked
I-
out. You
I
guys
hope
like-
you have a great year. You're awesome.
You
And I
didn't
shook
get
his
the
hand.
selfie? You didn't get none of
No,
that?
no,
Like,
I
oh.
can't do that. But I
You know,
shook
I'm
his,
trying to get some Instagram likes right now. Like,
I
chick
sh-
sticks this stuff.
he's
Sign me up.
like, thanks, bro. And I shook his hand, and he's got huge hands, huge like fat fingers, but they're soft.
That's nice.
They're soft.
He like gently just like covered your entire hand with his hand.
But he could have crushed my hand if he wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, but in a soft way.
He looks like a nice guy. He just looks like a friendly, like personable person that you like walk up to.
He's tall. He's like tall. He doesn't like necessarily look like a running back, but he doesn't have that like short, squatty build. Like he's like long.
I would have geeked out. Like, dude, you remember when you jumped over that guy last year?
Dude, that was so sick.
That was so cool.
That was so sick. When
Do you remember that one touchdown?
Remember that
That
one
was,
time?
that was super cool.
Remember when you like trucked that dude?
Yeah. Remember when you had a garbage season? Fucking ruined my fantasy, dude.
Just call him out
Yeah.
in the middle of Costco.
Yeah, just kill him, man.
Yeah,
Make a fucking
there's
scene.
no way that would turn out bad.
Who?
You'd probably be on
Todd
YouTube
Gurley.
now.
Todd
An
Gurley.
annoying
Oh,
fantasy
the year
football fan.
before last.
Yes.
Yeah, we were still telling stories.
Oh.
All right, you guys have build up number one. I'm taking my podcast pee. Brought to you by Dolla.
All right, we're gonna officially take a era moment before we release the number one. Was the story still
Big
going?
surprise coming.
Not much of a story. I told him what happened.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun story.
It was fun. Yeah, it was awesome.
You know what I thought about earlier when like I was, you know, I don't really feel like I was trashing Melvin Gordon, but all I was thinking about the whole time is like I always think about Melvin Gordon and Todd Gurley in the same light. You know, that was a time where I was like, really analyzing draft classes super hard, and you know, I watched a lot of film on both those guys when they're coming out of Georgia and Wisconsin respectively. And, you know, I really respected both of their games, and I was wondering who was going to be the better player. I was leaning towards Gurley, but when I was watching their tape, like, you know, those guys seemed almost indistinguishable from each other.
Melvin Gordon
Yeah.
put up 6 stats at Wisconsin.
Lesser competition, I
Lesser
guess.
competition, yeah. I mean, Todd Gurley was at Georgia playing in the SEC against like probably the best competition in college
Best
football.
competition in college, yeah.
And he, like, you could just tell, like, he had like special athletic abilities. Like, he would do crazy things
Yeah.
that were just like preternatural.
That's what she said.
But I feel like, you know, I feel
Gordon-
like I was so surprised to see Melvin Gordon in his first couple years because I felt like some of his greatest assets that he had in college, like his vision, and his ability to find the holes when they weren't there or make them with a backfield juke or whatever, or a stutter step or a delay. Like I just, you know, I feel like it hasn't translated to the NFL, you know, and maybe because his physical isn't on the same level as Gurley. They're both on the same top 10 list,
They haven't had a really great interior line. I think that's really hurt his interior rush abilities.
Yeah, but like, you guys, you keep talking line, but the Rams line, 3 years ago certainly wasn't good, and 2 years ago wasn't great, and last year you guys say it's a lot better because Whitworth got signed, who's a great left tackle. But I almost view him on the level as like a Donald Penn. He's not like an elite left tackle. The Bengals let him walk for a reason.
Sometimes you can keep the same players, but they just get better. They become more focused. They become more professional.
It was a system change more than anything.
Yeah, that
so there's
too.
no reason that Gordon couldn't do the same thing in your system if you got the right coach.
Well, that's what he's saying. He thinks this year is going to be the year that Melvin Gordon puts it all
Everything
together,
is
and he
put
becomes
together.
better than he has been
I can see that.
efficiency-wise.
I put him at 10, man. I put him in the top 10. So hey, we were just trying to stretch it out till you got back. Plus, we were trying to, fill some minutes in between.
Thanks for stretching that for me.
Yeah. All right. You're
Anytime.
welcome, man. Hey, baby. I got you.
Yeah, baby.
Hey,
Anytime.
right.
Anytime.
I'm a real natural lady, right. You know me.
I'm old-fashioned.
I'm an old-fashioned kind of woman, right. What do you think about that?
That's my mama.
Let's do it.
All right, so I know everybody's highly anticipating our number one running back. If you haven't figured it out by right now, you're an effing bar. All right, so who wants to unleash it? Motherfucker, I'll unleash it. How many names did I call the whole top 10? I don't know. Let's break down. You know how the real top 10s they always do? They go, number 10, Saquon Barkley. Number 9, Mark Ingram. Number 8, Melvin Gordon. Number 7, Leonard Fournette. Number 6, Alvin Kamara. Number 5, Ezekiel Elliott. Number 4, Kareem Hunt. Best to be number 3, David Johnson. Who's got the 2? I'm number 2. I'm the deuce. Todd Gurley. And number 1 on the Effin Football Podcast list for top 10 running backs for the 2018 season is Le'Veon Bell. What the fuck you got to say about that, Welty?
Nothing bad you can say about Le'Veon Bell. Number one thing you say is patience. Like, how's this guy just stand back there? He's just chilling. He's just chilling all day. He's the most frustrating guy to tackle. You can't find him. He's moving around in the backfield.
Wait, hold on. Like
we got a second caller. We got a second caller.
This is a whole different caller. Second caller. Caller, you're on the air with the Effin Football Podcast. Hold on, let me make sure our lines are crossed.
Leave Marshall alone. It pretty much pisses me off. So what I gotta do? Run over your Chargers? How's it gonna work? How do you want to go down?
I'm not having 35-year-old running backs on my top 10 list, man.
Well, yeah, let me tell you. Peyton Manning just called me. Said I'm the best.
What's your name, caller?
I'm the sheriff.
What's your name, caller? What's your name?
Marshawn Lynch.
I recognize the voice.
Oh,
Marshawn,
man.
how you doing? Marshawn, hey, and welcome to the podcast, Marshawn. We love Beast Mode.
Hey, I totally had you on my list.
Yeah, dude, Ty Dolla $ign said he had you on his list. What do you think about that, Marshawn?
Listen, let me tell you something. John Elway told me he wants 2 Super Bowls. And you know why he won them? By his running back. And now I got Marshawn Lynch in Oakland Coliseum. And, we're not going to put up with your shit on your podcast. Ranking me number.
Marshawn.
Marshawn, sorry. Hey, sorry. Hey, hey, man. I gotta tell you, man. No disrespect. We know what you're doing out there in the black hole for Oaktown. You were a black hole, if anything. I would say that you're hauling the team on your back. And we really respect your game. You're the beast for a reason.
You're going to get it in your black hole if you keep talking.
Marshawn, we gotta keep it. The FCC and everything. We gotta keep it.
Marshawn, please.
Marshawn,
Please
The kids are listening.
Marshawn,
Hey,
Marshawn, you got Marshawn. We're running short on time over here. You got anything else you want to say to the listeners?
If you don't put me in the top 3, I'm going to come down and kick all 3 of your asses.
Oh my Marshawn! All right, we're gonna have to cut the caller off. Oh man, dude, like
Beast mode's gonna come after us.
I wasn't expecting that, man.
How do you get our number?
How did he get our number?
I didn't realize we were live.
Dude, it's been a crazy podcast. That might have been the craziest part so far. I didn't recognize his voice at first, but after he said Marshawn,
He's one of those guys who sounds different on the phone.
he sounded very different. I was like, is he sick? I was like,
He's sick of our shit.
you made that known.
Yeah, he's sick of our bullshit.
I'm not gonna lie, like if he knocks on the front door, like I'm going out the back door.
I'm asking if he's got
Like,
some
do you think
Skittles.
the three of us could take him? And do you think we can beat him up?
I don't know, man. He's gonna be watching the podcast. I don't want to answer the question, man. Marshawn, hey, no bad love, no bad blood. It's all gravy here. Like, we really respect your talents and your skills and your game, man. You're top 10 in our hearts.
Yeah.
Top 10 in our hearts. Just not on the list.
Yeah.
Didn't make the
Hey,
list.
I'm just here so I don't get fined, bro. That's why I'm here.
I'll buy you Skittles.
Marshawn,
Sour Skittles.
don't tempt him to come over, bro.
No, if he did come over, I would get him Skittles. To get him to leave.
All the more reason to come over.
No, to get him
Free Skittles.
I would leave a Skittle trail away from our house.
Hey, Marshawn, man, hey, no hate, man. We love you, man. From the Effin Football Podcast, from us to you. Much love. We gotta move on, man.
Marshawn, you're like 15.
Marshawn, I'm sorry that, in other years,
That's still dope.
you would have been considered, you were definitely top 15 on everybody's list.
Yeah, and honestly, you were robbed of Super Bowl MVP that one year. Everybody knows it. It was probably the most shocking moment in the NFL in the last 10 years.
Oh, my God.
Football. And, yeah, sorry Pete Carroll screwed you. And that was actually the beginning to end of that entire franchise. After that, there was complete mistrust amongst organizational owners, from GMs to coach to players. It all dissolved. You deserved it. Seahawks deserved it. Sorry, bro.
Hey, sorry, man.
Go taste the rainbow.
Hey, bro, just don't take it out on us, please, man. We really respect you. And at the end of the day, I feel like we could just hug it out, if you came over and had a beef. Let's just talk it over, man. Enjoy a couple of cold, cool Coors Lights.
You'll always
together.
have the Beastquake. You'll always have the Beastquake.
And let's just reminisce. Let's watch some highlights on YouTube and all that.
Yeah. I still show people that aren't even football fans that, like, hey, check out what this freaking human being did to other human beings. When you toss that DB, just like he was a piece of trash.
Hey, you see the hat? It's not a beast mode hat, but what's on the hat? It's
the
grizzly.
least mode hat.
It's a grizzly bear. That's a beast. That's you, bro. You're a motherfucking beast. And we really respect you coming in and calling in on the podcast and showing your love and your hate. We get it.
But it's time for number one.
It's time for number one. And I know that's why you watch, bro, because you wanted to know the number one pick, the number one top running back, even though we already released the name, man. Le'Veon Bell, man. Killer bees. He's the most killerist of the bees. Am I right?
He's like that East African bee that will kill you instantly. He's like
just like
how many catches? This guy's pretty much like a slot wide receiver, on top of being the best running back in the league. I mean, the only thing I will say that may bring your value down is that the Steelers seem to have another running back on board that is effective, and so it doesn't seem like you are valued like you should be, which is why they ain't paying you money. So just remember, what are you doing here, Ron? What are you doing? Anyways, you're number one in the league, Bart. Honestly, you are the most dangerous player. They have to game plan the entire week around you. Without you, Ben Roethlisberger is not nearly as good as he normally is.
Man, I feel like you just saw God, bro. What the fuck is going on over here, dog, man?
I seen the light, bro. I seen the light.
When I watched Le'Veon Bell play, I'm like, God damn. It's like watching God build a dam for beavers who just did not have the ability to do it themselves. Maybe the floodwaters are too high, the water's rushing too hard. That motherfucker. Remember that game in the snow against the Browns when he ran for like 300 fucking yards? How many yards did he run for? He had like 30 carries, like 250 plus yards. I don't know if you guys saw that game.
It was one of the best games to watch.
You know the game I'm talking about?
I mean,
and it wasn't his only 200-yard game. Within a couple weeks, he had two 200-yard rushing performances. The guy is a complete monster. I always promote him. I always say he's the best running back in the NFL. I always do, and until I broke down this top 10, man. And I had to rank David Johnson higher only because he's got less mileage, man. I feel like not even the torch is being passed. I just feel like David Johnson is going to come back in his 4th season and put up extremely high elite production. And Le'Veon Bell puts up a elite production year after year. But when I broke down the 2017 stats, amongst all the running backs, it's elite. 1,946 scrimmage yards. 85 catches for 655 receiving yards. He had almost 1,300 rushing yards. 11 TDs, a number that could be higher. When we're talking about elite, I want to see that 11 TD number.
Need more TDs.
15, 16, right? Don't we need 17 TDs out of the elite guy?
I mean, it's not that far. I don't know. I honestly think you can expect 150 all-purpose yards out of this guy every single week.
You know what surprises me is how often the Steelers get into the red zone inside the 10-yard line and they don't hand it to Le'Veon and they start throwing the ball around. Remember that playoff game against the Patriots?
Yeah, well, that's a lot of
That
teams
controversial, was it a touchdown? Was it a drop thing with Jesse? He passed it to Jesse
too.
Bates.
Tight end, yeah.
Regular season, but yeah.
Regular season?
Yeah.
Right before the playoffs,
Right
right?
before the playoffs.
Right at the end of the year.
Yeah, that happens a lot. He over his career, he's not the most prolific touchdown scorer.
He only has 35 rushing touchdowns in his career.
But it's also a product of the other guy they have, Antonio Brown. That guy's a touchdown machine. They have other guys that they.
Latavius Bryant was there for a
Latavius
while.
Bryant was a dude that scored a lot.
Juju
Smith.
Ben Roethlisberger does a lot of rushes for touchdowns.
That Heath Miller is a comfortable fallback for a long time.
They have a lot of weapons, and that's great for the team, and it doesn't make Le'Veon Bell a lesser player. It's just more of a function of, the play calling that they do in Pittsburgh. But Todd Haley's gone. They're going to have a new guy running the offense, so perhaps more goal line rushes and more touchdowns for Le'Veon Bell.
I'll tell you,
As far as the eyeball test, though, I don't know if any running back is more fun to watch.
it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, you just know anytime, he's just going to make that one guy miss. He's going to break that tackle. He's going to make that move, and it's just...
That's why I couldn't put Kareem Hunt and Todd Gurley in front of him.
Yeah,
Eyeball test.
It's really the eyeball test.
Watching that guy in space he's about as fun. He's about as patient as it gets behind the line.
I think that drives defense is crazy. It's they think they got him. It's been 2 seconds and he's still behind the line of scrimmage, and then he just pops out and he just runs past you.
He really puts a big mask on an offensive line that people would talk about a lot more as being bad.
Mm-hmm.
But if it wasn't for him and Big Ben masking that, they're getting by. They've been getting by a long time without putting money into that offensive line and making it happen. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Caught 85 passes.
85 passes, but only a 7.7 average per catch. David Johnson in 2016, 80 catches at 11 yards a catch for 879 yards. Ezekiel Elliott, 10.3 yards a catch.
Way fewer catches, though. There's no way.
Alvin Kamara, 81 catches, 10.2 yards per catch.
More yards in the rushing game than Kamara, so.
It's a lot of catch. Yeah, I don't want to take away from the catches because also when you look at the catch percentage, Kareem Hunt ranks as the best receiving back out of any of these guys. But Le'Veon Bell is right there behind him. I see why he wants to get paid as a number 1 running back and as a number 2 wide receiver. But hey guys, let's be realistic. The first 3 games last year, his stats weren't up to par. He got out to an extremely sluggish start. If I had him on my roster, I would have been pissed. It's because he sat out the entire offseason, all of training camp, looking for a contract. He's doing the same thing this year, by the way. And he's planning to leave the Steelers after this. So there's 2 different motivations. Let me have a great season so I can sign a huge contract for another team at the end of the season. But also, they could say these guys work out by themselves in their own time and all this sort of shit. And I'm sure they do. But when it comes to getting to know the offense and assimilating with the playbook and your teammates, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, it makes a difference.
When
for
you're
sure.
not around the team. Like, I
Yeah.
think he'll have the same sort of sluggish start this year. And I think that's why David Johnson will overtake him in my ranking as the best back this season.
Oh, I think he'll be highly motivated. This is a contract year, and he's going to be trying to make the most amount of money he can. I just want to talk about the trend of running backs where they're going to hold on to him as long as they can. You know, they're going to get that rookie contract. They're going to give him these franchise tags. That's it. Like you'll
They
see,
just want to play him through the rookie contract and a couple franchise tags.
yeah, like
That's
that's it. Because you don't want to pay these guys big money because you're paying them for what they did, not what they're going to do. Any good team doesn't pay big money for
Here's
older
something
running backs.
interesting about this guy, though, is like he's going into his 6th season.
He's only 26.
He's 26. David Johnson is also going into his he's 26, going into his 4th season.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was drafted when he was 21. So
How many
he started-
how many
he's-
touches though? Look at the touches. I
The
mean,
touches are, yeah. that's
They're in the
really-
NFL instead of college, but they're both still getting touches during that time period.
I mean, David Johnson
I mean?
missed all last year, so that's a whole lot less touches. And yeah, college hits are another, just doesn't even count towards like the same hit that you've experienced in the NFL.
But you're talking about a nimble guy, man. That guy avoids damage and contact as much. You know,
How big is he
There's-
compared
there-
to David Johnson in
there's-
terms
They're the
of?
same size.
There's some players.
6'1", 225.
There's some players who are just above the game, and I think Le'Veon Bell is one of them. And he reminds me of a running back style of like a Jerry Rice, who is not the doesn't he. Le'Veon Bell didn't run the fastest 40. He didn't have the fastest 3-cone drill. Like this guy isn't like the most athletically gifted. He's very athletically gifted, but not the most. But like his understanding for the game and his timing and his anticipation, his
Setting up the
ability-
blocks, awareness, all that stuff.
his
is-
ability to like play in a way where he can also keep himself safe, very Jerry Rice like, and I think he's gonna, going into his 6th season at 26, like I think this guy's got 6-7 more productive years out of him. So I like the move he's making, man. I hope whatever
Bold
team
statement.
lands him next off season, like you're gonna land a gold mine, in this guy, and he's gonna play his heart out. I don't know if he'll top. Who knows who's gonna top the season this year? This was a very hard breakdown. I had to slide him down to number 2 on my list just because I believe so highly in David Johnson this season. But this guy very well could like put up his best statistical year this year.
No, I got more respect for this running back than any other running back in the entire league, just in terms of how he plays football, his knowledge of the game, the way he plays it, his style. He makes life miserable for defenses. You just never know. He can hurt you in so many ways. And the fact that he's betting on himself. He's out there trying to make his money. It's like, you know what? These NFL owners, what they're thinking about? Making money. And they try to make you feel like, you're less of a player, that you're not a team guy because you're trying to get yours. It's like, you know what? Then why don't you give them all that money then? Why don't you be the team guy and say, hey, step up. You've done all this for our franchise. You've earned this money. So you get yours, Le'Veon Bell. RBs need to get paid too, even though they're usually overpaid.
Yeah,
Are we
dude.
ready to roll out of this? Are we done?
Running backs got to get paid, man. Like I'll tell you that much.
I
Ty
respect
Dolla
you
Sign,
getting your
look like
dollars.
you want to say something?
I'm good.
We got another caller coming in, but what we're gonna do instead is we're gonna go ahead and wrap the podcast because at this point we want to have fun and drink Coors Lights. You know what I mean? So like, we got one more
Hey, you
call.
can say this, all right?
We got one more call. We're trying to wrap.
bring him in.
Caller, you're on the line.
Hi, is this the Effin Football Podcast?
It's the Effin Football Podcast. Who's
Hi.
this?
Oh, is it?
Caller, you're on the air with Ty Dolla Sign and Rory JC. What's your name, caller?
What's your name? What your name is?
Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice, the
my-
goat.
The GOAT.
One of the only
Yeah.
official goats that you can't question.
The greatest football player
I
of
just-
all time.
Greatest wide receiver of all time.
Football.
Just,
Greatest football player, yeah, most dominant.
Most dominant.
Hey, Jerry, your accolades are,
Jerry.
unconstitutionable.
I can't say I'm the best, but everybody else is the best. So I'll tell you the greatest
So
pleasure
matters.
of my life was playing for the Raiders.
Oh, Jerry,
Those
you
were
really,
your best-
you
those
really
were your
like
best times?
your best years were with the Raiders.
Yes, and
Ah,
I'm still looking
sorry
forward
for
to
you.
the team this year.
Yeah.
will be there in training camp just to help the rookies.
Are you trying out for the team this year?
They asked me to, but I declined.
Yeah.
Do you still have cornrows?
Pardon?
Do you still have cornrows?
I'm sorry, could you speak English?
Oh, he asked if you still had the cornrows that you had when you were playing for the Raiders.
And the do-rag?
No, I've been bald for years. What the fuck?
Sorry,
I know. I forgot you
I
went.
don't want to assume that.
You went full Michael Jordan and shaved all the hair off, like.
Isn't that timeless? I couldn't believe it, you know.
So Jerry, while we got you on the line, like, you played with a lot of talented quarterbacks, like.
Jerry Rice. Sorry.
Yeah, Jerry. Sorry, that's
what we said.
That's what I said.
Hey, listen. Last time I was with Ty's mom, she didn't give any shit about my carnivals, okay?
She didn't care about your carnivals.
Carnivals.
Wow, Jerry.
My mom's dead.
This is very offensive.
Anyway, I'll be in the camp this year. I'm going to forego the 49ers. You know, they're fags.
Jerry, we're going to have to cut you off.
I'm sorry, we're going to have to cut you off, man. I can't approve that sort of language on the podcast. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate all your greatness as an NFL wide receiver, but sorry, man, I just can't. We can't.
We're doing it to protect you.
Yeah, sorry, Jerry. Thanks again. Sorry. That's our last call of the night. Thank you all for tuning into the Effin Football Podcast. Tyler Welty said I'm done with this bullshit. Dolla sign, hey, I love my brother. And Rory JC said we're ruthless with the way we spit that Effin Football facts at you. So, hey, yo, check us out for the next time. Top 10 wide receivers. And we're going to hit you with that proper shit. You know what I'm saying? $10 sign, get in here. $10 sign. I am not sipping. Yeah, the Effin. F is for Effin. I'll let your boy. And I need all pros. We out. Catch us next time.